Hey, can you hear me? Great, great. So welcome. I'm Lefteris. I'll talk to you about how you can be like Berlin, right? Poor but sexy. The money-heading open source project credit goes to Ivan from Lobsters because that's what he has been calling Rotki and generally whatever I work on. First, for those who don't know me, I'm Lefteris. I've been in Ethereum since 2014. I worked with the foundation in the Solidity compiler and in the C++ Ethereum client. I built the DAO along with Christoph Jens and the Slockit guy, so sorry for that. But I did help in the white hat attacks and like counter attacks and the stuff that followed to recover the funds. I worked for 3 years at Raiden, which was a payment channel scaling solution for Ethereum. Basically, what Lightning Network is to Bitcoin, that was what it's supposed to have been for Ethereum. And I have founded Rotki, for which I will speak about today. So, Rotki, what is it? It's an open source local first app. So, some people would call it an old school application. A thing that you just download and run on your computer, right? Who does that anymore? Yet, this is how applications should be, especially financial ones. It does portfolio tracking, accounting for crypto, and we want to also do traditional finance. We do, but not automatically, not in a very nice way right now. Does some accounting and profit loss reporting for you, and it's privacy preserving. So exactly because it is local and all of the data is inside your local system, your privacy is preserved and you have sovereignty over the data. So nobody can just deny you access to the application, or even if, knock on wood, I die tomorrow, you still can use Rotki. Nobody will take it away from you. Its history is quite interesting. It started as a solution to a problem, something that relevant to the previous talk, like taxes, right? In 2017, like back when the first contribution started, I needed to do my taxes, and there was no solution for taxes in crypto. There was only Bitcoin.tax. So this was just a website. I think it still exists. And it said, OK, please upload your addresses, give me your all of your transactions in a CSV, API keys to every exchange you have ever used. I'm like, wait. Are you serious? You want me to upload all this in a website I don't know what they're going to do with? It's closed source. I don't know where this data is going, so I just created a CLI tool to solve this. Tax is done, no problem. Then some other people start asking for it too. Like, how did you do it? Can you tell me? So, having no idea what I'm doing because I'm a backend developer, I just started typing stuff in Bootstrap of Twitter, Twitter Bootstrap and jQuery, and made a kind of a front end that is not reactive, doesn't do anything. It kind of worked. But then as the project kind of grew and we got some users who tried to use it, I asked for help. And this guy, Kelsos, I don't know where he is, somewhere here. Oh, there, yeah. He told me that what I did was terribly wrong. Like, this is not a front end, this is an abomination. So he came in and used a Vue, JS and TypeScript and rewrote the whole thing. In order to be nice, reactive, and created our first good, proper frontend. I think this is it, maybe not. I just found this somewhere from 1.0 version of Rotki. This was how it used to look like. And as time passed, more people started using it. We got more traction, and at some point, I decided to create it into a company. In 2020, I just said, what, I'm stopping Raiden completely, and I focus on making Rotki into a thing. Our team has grown right now to 8 people. These 8 people and many open source external contributors have created 6 years of work on this repository. You can see the history in this video. This is like 2018, the first external contributors. 2019, slowly the project grows. We have more external contributors. In 2020, starts to become a company. We get maybe our first hire. Then more people in 2021. The project becomes bigger. And in 2022, we become kind of the same team size that we have right now, and the project grows huge. Up to 2023, which is right now. And here you can see basically 114 very busy bees committing into the repository. But what is it? How does it look like? It's first and foremost a portfolio tracker. It gives you a bird's eye view of all your data. I'm going to skip this because I'm actually have a video and we confirm that they work. How do we? Yeah. So this is how it looks like. So this is your dashboard. You have your net value. You have how it has progressed over time, and you can see we're in a bear market. The locations of all of your assets, then a breakdown per asset, along with a percentage of how much that is in your net value, NFTs. And if you have premium, you can also change to dark mode. The demo will show you the history events view, which is something that we're really proud of. It's basically all of your history events, either on-chain or on exchanges. You can filter, let's say by protocol, by ENS protocol, or the demo will do by Gitcoin. So you can see all of the Gitcoin-related transactions. This is from Rodke, so receiving donations, right? Or you can filter by exchanges, so Kraken. Let's say you see your withdrawals, your deposits, your trades in the exchange, or filter by a location, say, a chain like Optimism. And then you can see all of your Optimism events. We have many views. The demo will also show staking. For example, for liquidity, you can see how your liquidity is staked, the related events. And the most beloved view is Ethereum staking, which you can see basically all of your validators and all of the related events per validator. So, for example, the withdrawals or block production or any MEV rewards that you may have gotten at the same time. And you can filter per time range and see all the execution or consensus layer rewards and the APR. So this is a small demo. It doesn't cover everything, of course, but there is more. Like you can do accounting. As I said, it is an accounting tool. You can get all of your history events processed. You create a P&L report, and you can export it in CSV. It's not something that you can send to your finance arm directly, but it needs a bit of massaging. But it works. This we saw in the demo. You can do identity management. So say that you create tags, let's say the private tag, and each tag represents a category for you. And then you can tag your addresses. Like, OK, this is my public address, lefteris.eth, and this is my private address, let's say. It's not. And to be sure that you don't mingle them and basically dox your private addresses. You can add names of an address. So you don't want it to be a hexadecimal address, 0x, whatever. It's too, it's unreadable. So you can just add a friendly name, and everywhere in the history events view or anywhere in the UI, it will be using the custom name. And then we want, because everybody is different, everybody is unique, we want to allow customization in the tool. So you can customize the endpoints that are used for each chain and what probability they will be queried with. Or for prices, right? Maybe you don't want to use CoinGecko, you can remove it. Maybe you don't want to use DeFi Llama, you can remove it. You can change the order. Maybe you want them only for current prices, not for historical. And so on and so forth. And everything, as I said, is local, and you can do backup management inside the app, revert to older versions, etc. The project has grown a lot. Since 2017, or 2018 actually, is when Kelsos started working with me. From 2, we are 8 people in the core team. The first releases had something like 50 downloads, and now we are at about 7,000 downloads per release. First users, these are approximate numbers. It's very hard to confirm. It was like, let's say, 40, 50, and then now we are at 5K active users. The stars in GitHub have grown from 35 to 2,307. The code contributors is amazing. We have 114 code contributors right now, and it's increasing continuously. And we also have grown our user community. But how do you build an open source project and get to well, sustainability, especially in such a very difficult environment. Like everything is collapsing, as so they say. Like the regulation there is a crypto crackdown, as they say. The total cryptocurrency market cap is falling. Today, we also see more falling if you check the prices. The big giants that were supposed to bring in the retail are either going bankrupt or cutting big percentages of the workforce. So how are you still alive? Like, I really get this question. Like, why are you still working on Rodkey, and how are you guys still here? The meme says I have no idea, right? But the reality is, by not going crazy and by striving for sustainability, the same people that are asking the question, hey, how are you still working on Rodkey? How is Rodkey doing? Are the people that advised us to go for explosive growth, get a lot of VC funding, and just give competitive salaries in Silicon Valley terms, and just go crazy. The same people right now are looking for a job, or are in their fourth or fifth job after giving me that advice. So I really believe that being sustainable and striving for sustainability is something that every project needs to be doing here. Otherwise, we have, I mean, how many of these conferences you come to and you see a project, I've never heard of this project. Next year you come, this project no longer exists. Like, this is like tragic about this field. And I really think that we should try to build projects that exist for the next 10 years and not just like for 1 year and then somehow they exit to retail and we pay the price. But how? So how can an open source project do that? There's many ways. So how did Rodkey do this? I made an initial investment in the beginning. I've been in the field for long. I'm not starving. But that was not enough to get where we are. We have, well, open source always gets donations, right? And even 6 years in, we still get donations by happy users because we are building a very useful product. And people not only buy a subscription, but they come and say, how can I help more? Like, when is the best time to donate? How should I help you? Gitcoin grants. You see me saying many things about Gitcoin, but they have helped, not only Rodkey, they have helped the entire sector, and this is something that really needs to be recognized. Because Gitcoin is striving to provide funding, no matter how much, but a constant stream of funding for projects. Companies give us implementation grants also because our users press them to integrate with Rodkey. And a big shout out here to, like, I don't know, latest would be Gnosis Chain, Optimism, and Liquidity. And constant revenue from premium subscriptions. It's not enough to make it only with the premium subscriptions, but this is the goal for complete sustainability. But also, as an open source project, you will not survive just by the core team. This is impossible because one of the main things of being open source is having external contributors. So these are just 100 out of 114. And the way to do this is just create a useful product and encourage others to contribute. People will contribute because of, you know, I have in my CV that I contributed to one of the best Python projects in the field. And also, they have a problem. They're also users of Rodkey, and they need a particular integration. They need, I don't know, the GRT staking integration. They come and do it. Or also because you have to strive to have modular code and welcoming docs. Okay, I have that there. We have a modular code and welcoming docs. It can be better, but yeah, it's something to strive for. And you make it as an open source project by actually working a lot. Like, there is a lot of work in Rodkey. This is like the contributors over until September 9th when I started the presentation. And it's like 6 years of work, more than 6 years. 13,600 commits, 96 releases, and 114 contributors. But how can you grow together with the contributors? Some people have told me, and this is valid. So there is also a company behind Rodkey, which is trying to make money to pay its contributors. So it's a for-profit company. Is it enough to just say cloud and new features that you just put it in your CV, and then what do you get as an external contributor? How can you incentivize external contributors? We have so many things in crypto that can do it. No, I'm not going to say that you should just airdrop a token to your external contributors and somehow they will keep it and then somehow they will make some profit and then they will be incentivized. This is bullshit. This is basically what every crypto project makes, which is what I say, the cycle of a Web3 of crypto or whatever. So you make a new project or a company. At some point, you realize that it's not going to make it, so somehow you have to add a token. So you either make a DAO, or it started as a DAO, but most of them actually create a DAO as a separate thing, and then they have also their initial company. And then you have one cap table on your company, one cap table on the DAO, and somehow this makes sense, and people buy into it, and you exit through your users. Your users become your exit liquidity. Some are smart traders and they somehow make money through it. Your community somehow declines after a while because, well, I mean, there is no more money in your project and your liquidity has been drained. They leave, they go to the next airdrop hunting. This is the most common question in our Discord, when token. And then your project soft rugs. And then you make a new project. There is many famous and some infamous people in crypto that basically have done this 5 or 6 times by now in the entire lifetime of Rodkey, which I believe it's ridiculous for our field. So there must be a better way, right? How can we create projects that incentivize people and don't go through this cycle? I don't know the good solution on this, but there are things that we can try, and one of them is actually using companies. So we have companies, right? Every crypto project, almost every crypto project, has a company behind. Companies have evolved over hundreds of years. Everybody in DAOs is trying to recreate exactly the same things. In the end, they're going to try to create the same structures as the traditional companies. But the traditional companies, they are integrated into the traditional system. As a DAO worker, probably I wasn't here for the full talk before, but as a DAO worker, because I have worked for DAOs also, one of your biggest problems is, how do I get paid? Who do I invoice? Do I get vacation days? Do I get insurance? How does that whole thing work? Or then as the DAO, where do I pay taxes? Oh, no, I don't pay taxes, which is something very, very, very big about the DAOs. So there is no uncertainty about any of this with companies. All of that are set. So what if we just tokenize companies instead, right? This is an idea that many people are exploring. You can tokenize companies, and then even as an open source project with a company behind, you can find ways to incentivize your contributors by giving them a tiny bit of your actual company, of an actual company registered in, say, Germany. There are companies, projects that do this. One is for here, it's called Tokenize It. A disclaimer, I'm an investor in that project. And also, it's, oh, I'm very bad with names. I don't remember, but there's one by a good friend of mine, Thibaut, but it's for the US system. All right, so what is on the future for Rodkey specifically? Because I said that I would also speak about our future plans. So the expected stuff, right? More features, more EVM chains, more modularity, more accounting, better P&L reporting and insight, everything that everybody in Discord is asking for. You're going to get all of that, slowly but surely. And better non-EVM ecosystem support. People are asking for Dfinity ICP, for Cosmos, etc. What I like a lot, and I advertise a lot, is that because taxes are actually very hard, and I don't want to make a tax tool. I never wanted to make a tax tool. I want Rodkey to be more used for active management. So trade on exchanges actively. Say you have, I don't know, 10 ETH in Coinbase, Kraken, and Binance, and you want to sell 1 ETH. What's the best way? Ask Rodkey. Rodkey will just sell it immediately for you because you know the fees in each one. You have the keys for all of them, and you just sell immediately. It's a local app, so everything that runs locally can run trading strategies, arbitrage between exchanges and on-chain. You can do all of that stuff because it is a local app. Don't try to do that by uploading keys to any website. You're going to get rugged, like Google 3 commas if you haven't, if you don't know what happened there. And another thing that many people, including me, would like, but also many potential investors have told us, have better connection with traditional finance. So track banks automatically, not just manually as we do now. Analyze all of the bank's transactions. You have ETFs, you have a stock portfolio, track everything automatically in Rotkey and have it there. Okay, so I'm actually out of time. So for closing, we are hiring. So if you are a Python backend developer, we really, really want to talk to you. If you're good at business, I'm a developer, right? I don't know much about business, even though I've brought a company for so long. I'm always looking for someone to help us with business. We welcome open source contributors. Please use Rotkey daily and spread the word. Buy premium subscription or donate to support us. The links are all in this QR. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Questions?
So you mentioned before that many traditional companies and LTD, for example, in the UK, can have shares, which represent a part of the company, but at the same time, if it's a DAO, they have tokens, right? What is the best way to kind of unify them both? So if you have, or if you fundraise, for example, do you come across companies that sell 20% of their tokens to a VC, but then the VC doesn't necessarily have to have shares in the company, in the LTD? So do you see any kind of the best way forwards to unify tokens of the DAO and the legal representation of the company?
I really have no idea about that. I could not give any. I couldn't give any advice there. But I think that what is simpler is to basically just. I'm more over time. So I have worked in DAOs for a long time. I'm also one of the biggest delegates in many DAOs. But I'm very bearish on DAOs. Like this is something that people know about me. Because I've spent so much time with them, I think that we should try the opposite way. Really to tokenize existing companies rather than try to create DAOs that somehow will at some point in the future maybe get integrated with the system, because this is what everybody seems to be trying to do right now. They start a DAO, and at some point they also create a Cayman Islands company. I mean, it's ridiculous and it gives a very bad name to our field, I think. I think that we should really just use the constructs that we have, the Web3 constructs, because by tokenizing a company, you can have a tiny bit of my company, and I can say, okay, I have a vesting contract of some sort, or all of that in a smart contract, or a token-gated chat, or airdrop an NFT to all of the company shareholders. You can use everything that we have created in Web3 for actual companies. Because with the DAOs, the main problem that we have is this, like, okay, so which jurisdiction will claim not ownership, but jurisdiction over the DAO, the particular, whichever, let's say, one particular DAO, because then they want the taxes. This will 100% happen. They will try to claim jurisdiction over the DAOs because they are not paying taxes anywhere, and they will want this money. They're not going to let the money on the table. Absolutely. I put my head over a fire for this.
Amazing. Thank you.
And so you mentioned that you want to stick for a long time, and I would love that too. So I've been watching the project for a couple of years now, and it's come a long way. I love how it develops, and I want to make sure before I invest a lot of my time and effort to put everything together to have in the app, and maybe also do some manual stuff like with banks or everything else. So I want to make sure that this service, this app will be there like 2, 5, 10 years from now. And you say that you're a money-hating project, which doesn't really bode well for that. So yeah, how can I be sure, and how do you see the probability of Rotki going strong 10 years from now?
All of the current accounting tools that exist did not exist in 2017 when I started the project. Some of them have also stopped existing in the meantime. They started after Rotki and they stopped existing before. So the money-hitting project is a sort of a joke in order to explain that you can make it without explosive growth. So I can't promise anything, but you have many more guarantees that Rotki can survive from two things. The fact that it's already gone for so long, and second, that it's an open source project that if it's worth it, if it's good enough, and if enough people use it and like it, even if I die, knock on wood, then someone can pick it up. Nothing will stop anybody from doing that. It's all open. While with any other project, not only you have the buzz factor of the founders, but they may run out of money, and then the project closes. This has happened. Like, ask the Gnosis guys. They were using, I don't remember, I had it in a previous presentation. I used it as an example. They were using a service that they exactly put all of this time, because this is time, right? By using Rotki, I'm also asking you to devote your time to put your data in there and maintain it. It's not easy. There's many people who are asking for us, make it easier to switch from, I don't know, accounting or something else. But yet, Rotki is an open source tool, so anybody could pick it up and continue, even, like, okay, this is a long shot, but this chance is taken away from you, from any of the other closed source software as a service, because you put the data there. When they go bankrupt, it's gone. You have no access anymore. Like the people there, they just lost all of the data that they had, which they spent months, massaging, making them reconcile, making it everything make sense, and then poof, gone.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for building Rotki.